My people, my people, what is going on? Good morning on this Wednesday, October 2nd. Hopefully, everybody's off to a good start. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Give you guys kind of a second to come in here. Episode number 2 of the Sliwa Show here on Hoops Talk. So, looking forward to doing the show today. Got a lot going on. I'll be honest with you. I was kind of ready for this morning. By the time I was done, we were looking at it was like 7:35, and I'm like, well, I'm ready to go right now. Why do I have to wait till 8 o'clock? It's my show, it's my channel. I should be able to go whenever the hell I want to go. Thank you for hanging out. We got a lot that I want to get into. I'll give you guys just a kind of a quick little rundown of what we're going to do in today's show. I mentioned to you guys that I'm going to the Padres Braves game tonight, game 2 coming up in that wild card round. Of course, the winner of that series will go up to Los Angeles to go take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hopefully, that's going to be the case this weekend for the Padres. We'll talk a little bit about yesterday's game. A lot because I think it's very reflective of the series that probably is going to take place when the Dodgers potentially take on the Padres. So I want to spend some time on that. Dodgers rotation. I got some things to be concerned about if you're a Dodger fan. But just relax here for a quick second. That Dodgers rotation, I don't know how somebody can feel comfortable about that. I don't know if you guys have been reading about this Shohei Ohtani 50-50 ball, but everybody's basically suing each other. I think we should all get in on this and start suing other people as well, see if we can get in on this action. Lebron had some quotes yesterday about expectations. I'm curious to get Laker fans their take on just their excitement level for the upcoming season. To be honest with you, I don't really feel like anybody's excited about the upcoming year. I'll make some comparisons with JJ Redick and Darvin Ham. And then I got one thing I want to do on college football. Okay, last thing I'm going to do before the show ends today. I did a piece with Andy Bernstein. If you guys know who Andy Bernstein is, Andy Bernstein was an NBA, still is an NBA photographer. He was basically an NBA photographer, still is again, over 40 years. Him and I did a piece together because he helped make the Mamba Mentality book with Kobe Bryant. I did a piece with him probably about 3-4 months ago. I'm going to end the show with running that piece just for those who haven't got a chance to watch it. So appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for being here. What's my song behind me? Black Roots, Africa is the song. I'll put a link at the end. I'm telling you guys, listen to some of this music that I end up posting up. I think you guys will really like it. It's good music. A lot of it's positive vibes. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. That's kind of going to be what I try to build here with this channel. Okay. One thing I want to do before we get started today. For those who know, they'll know. For those who don't, they won't. One of, I think, the unique things, not just about this channel, but anytime you're doing anything on YouTube, there is a great, great opportunity to connect with people that are not just in Southern California, or they're not just in the state of California, or they're not just even in the States. So I haven't done this one in a while. We're going to do some roll call. All I want you to do is just list where you're tuning in from. So if it's somewhere out here in Southern California, put the city. You want to put the state down, you want to put the country down, whatever the case is, throw some roll call in there, and then I'll give some shout outs and make sure to get to some of your comments. All right, let's get started with the show. Couple things here that I'm watching the game yesterday, and again, the winner of this wild card playoff between the Padres and the Braves are going to travel to LA on Saturday to take on the Dodgers. So the Dodgers are kind of kicking back and waiting. They're waiting for, obviously, to figure out which opponent they're going to go up against. Couple things so far with, kind of looking at the game yesterday and then also looking at what could be in place for the weekend. Padres win the game 4-0. It's Atlanta and New York are going through this really, really random situation of the the doubleheader that they had to play on Monday. And, some people are saying, I don't want to hear any excuses. Other people, if they're cheering for that team, if you're a Braves or a Mets fan, I'm sure you're saying, what do you mean no excuses? If it was me, I will tell you right now, I would definitely have excuses. Um, the Atlanta Braves yesterday were throwing out a kid that's 21 years old and has had 2 starts in his major league career. Obviously, and the guy gave up 3 runs before you even and done with the second inning. And that game wasn't decided by the time the second inning was over, but clearly a huge disadvantage for the Atlanta Braves. And, I'm obviously a Padres fan, so I'm not spending too much time being too sad about it because I just want to see my team, move on. But for those that are saying, oh, they shouldn't have any excuses. No, the Mets and the Braves can have excuses. Now, the difference with the Mets is they went to Milwaukee and already won a game. What was the final? I think yesterday, 8-4. But of course they can have some excuses. How do you not have excuses? Atlanta had to travel after the doubleheader, after the second game, all the way down to San Diego to SoCal. I think I read something that they had to fly into the Tijuana airport. I don't know where the hell I read that from, but whether that's true or it's not. But that game, I think if you're a Dodger fan, is a really, really good example of what to be fearful of. And listen, I understand any pitcher in Major League Baseball, if you're going out, you're throwing 7 innings, and you got 12 Ks, and you're flawless, basically. I don't think he gave up any walks, clearly didn't give up any runs. Michael King was excellent yesterday. But that's a great example, a perfect example of what is the most dangerous thing for the Dodgers coming into that series, if it is the Padres. I mean, obviously, if Atlanta comes back and wins 2 games in a row, you probably won't hear from me for about a week and a half. But if they're able to do that, obviously if the Atlanta Braves most likely won't be able to do that. I mean, they got Max Fried on the mound later today, but that type of rotation, if there's one thing that a team like the San Diego Padres have is they got a rotation. They have an established rotation. As the Dodgers kept losing starting pitchers, the Padres got Joe Musgrove back. They got Yu Darvish back. And watching that game yesterday is a clear-cut example of how you win in the playoffs. Get a good start from your starter, have your bullpen come in and lock things down and call it a day. Now, I know the Atlanta Braves lineup's not the Dodgers lineup, but the Braves lineup's not a terrible lineup. They got obviously some key injuries. But I thought yesterday's game, kind of watching that, I keep kind of trying to look ahead, which I shouldn't, but it was just a week ago that the Dodgers and the Padres were playing each other, obviously up in LA, and it was Michael King that got the only win that the Padres got when they were up there. Dylan Cease did not. Joe Musgrove gave up that 2-run homer to Will Smith. So there was, obviously the rest of their rotation wasn't as solid. The bullpen wasn't as solid against the Dodgers, but it's a perfect example. You got talent. If you want talent, the Padres certainly have some talent. If you want a premier matchup, I think that's going to be, if it ends up being that, a premier matchup. But I thought the game yesterday, if you're a Padre fan, you're feeling good that, okay, look, this is kind of the type of team that the Padres can put out there on any given night. But I also think if you're a Dodger fan, you're looking at that game yesterday. You're seeing Tatis hit that 2-run homer. Nobody really else did anything offensively for the Padres, but they got the talent. It's not that the talent is not there to go up against a team like the Dodgers. And I think the major difference between the two franchises is going to be the Padres have a starting rotation. They have guys that they can rely on. And I don't know if the Dodgers have that. That's at least from my my first glance at it. We've talked about this, that the Dodgers, Tyler Glasnow, Bobby Miller, Clayton Kershaw, Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, go down the list of all these really effective starters or ace type of starters that the Dodgers have that they're not going to be able to use. And that's not the issue with the Padres, and I do think that's the biggest difference. So one of the things that I was saying, and I'd love to have Dodger fans kind of chime in on this, but one of the things I was talking about was you have to be concerned if your starting rotation, and I'm going to kind of go through with you what the Dodgers starting rotation is. And they've basically announced who the 4 starters are going to be for the Dodgers in the next round. And those 4 starters, I'm not telling you that you can't have moments. I'm not telling you that, these players don't have talent or can't go out there and have a big night. But let me just kind of remind everybody what that rotation looks like. And again, I'll say it again. If I'm a Dodger fan, this is what I'd be most concerned about when it comes to that Dodgers rotation. Jack Flaherty was not brought to the Los Angeles Dodgers to be the ace. And he's basically going to be walking into a playoff matchup this weekend. I'm assuming he's going to take the ball game 1. Dave Roberts had said something to the effect that it's leaning towards game 1. But I don't think anybody thought, imagine if the Dodgers, this was kind of like a last second trade that the Dodgers made for Jack Flaherty. All right, hypothetically, if that trade didn't go down, or if the Yankees, who had an issue, I believe, with the physical, what the hell would the Dodgers be doing in this situation right now? I mean, they're very, very fortunate that they ended up making that trade for Jack Flaherty. The problem is you're asking Jack Flaherty to be your ace. You're asking Jack Flaherty to come in, and he's had some moments. I mean, it's not, I was looking at some stats when he was with St. Louis, but his last start in the postseason as a starter, not coming in out of the bullpen or reliever or anything along those lines, was in 2020. It's 4 years ago. Something else to keep in mind. His last 3 starts for the Dodgers, and pitched pretty well against the Padres, what was that, a week ago or so. But his last 3 starts, he's got over a 6 ERA. So all I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not arguing that the Dodgers don't have the best player in baseball. I'm not arguing that the Dodgers don't have one of the most ridiculous lineups that I've seen. I mean, where they put Muncy in the lineup and Will Smith is, 6th or something along those lines in that batting order. I mean, they got ballers left and right. I'm not saying that they don't. But in the playoffs, you win because of your pitching. And I don't think you're relying on your bats, because your bats are just not going to show up every single game. A good example of that is, go look at what's happened to the Dodgers with 2 of the best bats in all of baseball in the postseason. I'm talking about Mookie Betts. I'm talking about Freddie Freeman. That rotation, and I'm going to keep kind of mirroring it back, because I think the Padres, I think the Philadelphia Phillies, I think there's some rotations that are left in the playoffs. I know we just started, but I think there's some rotations out there where, of course, you would take the opposing team over the Dodgers. Okay, who is your number 2 starter? All right, it's going to be Yamamoto. Yamamoto, obviously, what did he get paid? $325 million. An absolute stud. Here's the problem with Yamamoto. He's only made 4 starts since being out for 3 months. He hasn't gone, I think he's gone over 4 innings in those 4 starts once, and he went 5 innings. Again, I'm going to kind of go back to this. So your starting rotation so far, you can make a case, and, you could try as best as you can to say, Jack Flaherty's been there before and he's going to shove. Yamamoto likes big moments. You saw him at Yankee Stadium earlier in the year, and watch out, this guy's going to be the man. You can try to kind of sell yourself on that, and you can make a case and look for the most optimistic view, but I would have major concerns. And frankly, I think it's a surprise. It's going to be so difficult for the Dodgers to make a deep run with this pitching rotation. Jack Flaherty, I mentioned, last couple of starts, ERA has been high. His velocity has come down. Yamamoto has only started 4 times since he came back from being out 2.5, 3 months, however long it was. And 4 innings. Basically, I think he had a couple of starts of 4 innings, 1 start of 3 innings, and then 1 start of 5 innings. So still, I think a question mark on Yamamoto as well, or how much distance, how many innings can he eat up for you in game 2? Which puts an incredible amount of pressure on Jack Flaherty to go out there and pitch 6 innings in game 1, so that you don't have to use your entire bullpen in game 1. They could be fresh for game 2. Okay, what happens after game 2? Are Dodger fans confident about Walker Buehler in game 3? I mean, that's your 1-2-3 right now if you're the Los Angeles Dodgers. Your 1-2-3 is sitting at Jack Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler, who, yes, did have a pretty good start against the Padres last week, but, just something to kind of keep in mind here. He had one strikeout, which means in the game of baseball, if you're not getting a lot of swing and misses, even if you're getting outs, eventually guys are going to churn on whatever it is that you're throwing. And I think it's actually an advantage if it is the San Diego Padres. I think it's an advantage for the Padres that they got to see a little bit of Walker Buehler, that they got that opportunity, even against Jack Flaherty, right? And I'm sure it's good for the Dodgers too that they got to see Cease and Musgrove and Michael King as well. So for the second time, the second go around. But that's your 1-2-3 right now. Jack Flaherty, Yamamoto, Walker Buehler, and then your fourth starter is going to be Landon Eck. Oh, by the way, Walker Buehler, that would be a road game because he's not in 1 and 2, and his ERA on the road is over 6. So all I'm saying is this, and I don't think I'm breaking news to Dodger fans out there, but they're in a better position they were a year ago when it was Clayton Kershaw that had to start. Lance Lynn was, I think, game 2. They're in a better position than that, but you can't tell me that you're walking into any of these games if you're a Dodger fan and you're comfortable knowing that rotation that's on the other side. Now, the blueprint for a team like the Padres, if they go up against the Dodgers, is it's going to be their starting pitching. If their starting pitching is phenomenal, if their starting pitching is giving up 1 to 2 runs, maybe 3 at the most, but they can eat up a lot of innings and you can get to that bullpen, and they got a good chance of obviously not even just a series against the Braves or not just a series against the Dodgers, but I think just a series against anybody. You could make a deep playoff run, but nothing about that Dodgers rotation to me says watch out for the Dodgers. Now, offensively, what they're able to do, if Jack Flaherty is the Flaherty that he's been in the postseason in the past, if Yamamoto comes out, it's like, listen, I was just saving my arm for this moment, and he's unbelievable, and maybe Walker Buehler gets a little bit of what he's done before. Maybe I'm wrong in that regard, but yeah, that portion of it, again, watching the game yesterday, that is such a key advantage for some of these other teams out there, including a team like the San Diego Padres with their rotation. All right, let's take a look at some of these comments. Let's take a little look at these comments here. I did mention roll call, so I do want to, just to kind of give people an idea where everybody is tuning in. It is something that I enjoy doing. But look, just kind of gives you an idea where everybody is. DC in the house, Covina. I don't know, Bompton, California. I don't know if that's Compton. It's got my photo on there. It's a little weird. East Vale, California. Thank you for tuning in. Chicago in the house. Ariette or Arleta, California. South El Monte. Menifee in the house. All right, that's cousin Slee right there. Glendora, California. Thank you very much for tuning in. What do we got here? Redlands, California, North Seattle, Lakewood, Fullerton in the house. Man, I love this. It's one of my favorite things that I've done on this. Anytime I've done any of my shows on YouTube, I just love seeing where people are tuning in from because I know they're from everywhere. Silver Lake in the house, Bainbridge, City Terrace. I appreciate you guys all being here. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Great to be a part of the Sleeper Show. Great to have you, David. Thank you, my brother. Told my boss Slee was on. I'll get back to you in an hour. Yeah, just listen. Grab your cup of coffee real quick. Grab your cup of Joe real quick. If you have a boss, send me your boss's email. Send me a Zoom link. I want to talk to your boss. I want to look him in the eyes. And this is what I want to tell your boss. 8 to 9, your employees are busy. They're here hanging out on the Sleeper Show. Okay? We got a lot of important shit to talk about. All right? I'm going to a game later tonight. I'm going to need your guys' help on a little bit of my game plan. Do I go hard to the hoop tonight? Across the street from me is the train. Do I just take the train down to downtown San Diego? I'm going with my cousin. Him and I are going to go together. Do I just go hard to the hoop tonight? And, if the Padres kind of wrap up this series against the Atlanta Braves, do I show up tomorrow morning looking like a mess? All right, that's probably not going to happen. Look like a mess every day. Look like a mess every day. Let me get a couple more comments in here. They didn't have Ohtani. No, Ohtani, listen. Ohtani, can I show you guys something real quick? This is actually going to get to my next topic here. It's going to get to my next topic. How many times have you guys seen this where a ball is hit, some type of a home run is hit, and it's a monumental home run or it's whatever it is, and you hear those people saying, hey, you should just give the ball back, man. I'm going to get into Shohei here real quick. You should just give the ball back. Be a nice guy. That team's going to give you a couple clubhouse tickets. They're going to get some autographed merch for you. You just be a good guy. Let me tell everybody here that if you ever go to a sporting event and you're fortunate enough to be in a position where you have something that is incredibly, incredibly valuable, do me a favor. Leave the stadium with whatever that is that you have that is incredibly valuable. Go hire an attorney and go see how you can maximize whatever it is that you have. Al, don't be greedy, bro. Don't be greedy. Come on, Al. That's not yours. That's somebody else's. Guys, let me show you guys something here real quick. Shohei Ohtani's 50th home run ball in the historic game that he was obviously a part of. Do you know that ball right now is on auction? In auction. The current bid, I actually saw a higher number. I think this is the number, the 1.464. That's what Shohei's ball is going for. And I think there's a certain amount of time I think they're doing the bidding. I think they just actually extended it to October 22nd. So they're going to give it more time to be sold. Please do me a favor. In life, sometimes opportunities just come that you weren't expecting. If you have an opportunity in life to try to cash out on people that are worth millions of dollars or billions and franchises that are worth billions of dollars, please do me a favor. Don't be the nice guy or the nice lady that says, guys, you know what? Just want to give this ball back to you. Shohei's 40-40 ball. I think that one was muffed. I think the guy dropped it. This is obviously the 50-50 ball. If you get anything of value at one of these games, please just do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and make sure that you don't give it back. Go cash out and try and make some money. I want to read this article to you guys. I actually kind of found it pretty entertaining. There are so many lawsuits going on right now with the Shohei ball. Let me find. All right, this is just incredible. I didn't know you can do this. It's like a lawsuit on top of a lawsuit on top of a lawsuit. So I don't know if anybody is a lawyer out there. I've worked with some attorneys in the past. The Wallace firm, a perfect example. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should go to this guy. But let me just read this to you guys real quick. A second fan has filed a lawsuit over rightful possession of Los Angeles Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani's 50th home run ball following last week's lawsuit filed by 18-year-old Max Mattis. The record-setting ball is currently listed up for auction through Golden Auctions with bidding up to $1.464 million, and there's still a lot of time. I think I saw in here the most expensive ball ever bid on was Mark McGwire's 70th home run. That went for $3 million. Imagine how much this one's going to go for. This is the last thing I'll put on here. On Tuesday, the auction's end date was changed from October 16th to October 22nd, according to a Golden spokesperson. The change was made given the volume of international interest in this item. I mean, for that reason alone, everyone should be trying to go to a Dodger game just to try to get some whatever it is that's valuable that you can try to take advantage of. But I just love that there are people now. There is multiple people now suing each other. One guy is saying that no, I had the ball in my hands and then somebody took it. Another guy is making a similar argument. Read the quote. He was able to firmly and completely grab the ball in his left hand while it was on the ground before an unknown fan wrongfully jumped over the railing, jumped onto somebody's arm, and attacked, causing the 50-50 ball to come loose and roll into the hands of a different defendant. So everybody's basically suing each other for this Ohtani ball. I got to be honest with you guys. I might get in on the action here. I just might throw my name in the hat. I'm going to sue all of them for suing each other, and then just kind of see what kind of lawsuit come out. I'm just trying to come out with about 25 grand is what I'm looking for. I don't need the 1.4. I don't need the 1.4. To go back to this comment here that somebody made that they didn't have Ohtani, and I was talking a little bit about the Dodgers and spending some time, obviously saying that there is definitely should be concerned about that Dodgers rotation. You're right. They did not have they definitely did not have Ohtani. And, I mentioned this yesterday, and I genuinely believe that this is going to happen. Ohtani is about to have some just legendary moments over the next 5-7 years or whatever it is. Legendary moments. Legendary. What I mean when I say the word legendary, you can't use that lightly. And by the way, I don't know, is it going to come in this playoff run? How much can, one guy push you to a World Series? This isn't LeBron in the NBA. This isn't a boxing match or a golf match where you can just depend on one individual. Shohei Ohtani can bat 6 for 6 on Saturday night, and they could lose the game 5-4. That can happen. That's so. Is he? Yeah, I actually think, and I was going to make this a topic. I ended up not making it a topic, but if Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman can't get out of the slump that they've been in the postseason these last couple of years with the Dodgers, there's no pressure on them. The pressure's on Shohei. And I don't even know. Let me actually kind of think about that here for a second. There's pressure on them because they have not performed well in the playoffs, but everyone's looking at Shohei. They're not looking at you. So all you got to do is just basically do your job. But one person obviously can't do that. One person, it's impossible for one person to do that. All right, let me look here. Let's see a couple other comments. By the way, Long Beach in the house, Mexico in the house, Anaheim. I appreciate you tuning in. By the way, Mazlatan, I am not pronouncing it right, Mexico. Bro, can I get an invite out here? Maybe I come do the show from out in Mexico. San Fernando in the house. Appreciate you tuning in. New York. Thank you for being a part of the show. Whittier, thank you for being a part of the show. San Marcos, Riverside, Little Italy, Riverside. When I think of Riverside, I think of some of the best Italian food when I think of Riverside. That's an inside joke here for YouTube. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, then you're just going to have to wait here for a second. I don't know what you want me to do. Pavilion seats are the best seats to sit at Dodger Stadium. All right, listen, I got to figure out my stuff because if, as I knock on wood, if the Padres handle business tonight, 1,000%, I got to figure out how to get up to Dodger Stadium. I don't even know if Dodger Stadium's going to let me in. They'll be like, no, you can't do it, bro. Can't come up here. They'll let me in. They'll let me in because of the Lakers. That's why they'll let me in. All right, speaking of the Lakers, a couple other things I want to get to here. I'm going to play something here for you guys. LeBron. Actually, let me throw a question to you guys out here real quick. Are people excited about Slee always welcome in LA? Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate that. You guys excited about the Lakers season? Are people looking forward to this Lakers season? Yes or no? The reason why I'm asking the question is because I don't feel much hype coming into this season. I really don't. I don't feel this excitement coming into the season, which, by the way, might not be a bad thing. I don't think, I think a lot of times we, it's very easy to kind of overhype things for the Lakers, right? Think about that here for a second. It's very, very easy to, last season, Lakers were coming off getting to the Western Conference Finals. All of a sudden, the expectations were back up. And then, before we knew it, before May 1st even rolled around, that's it. Season was over. Lakers were out. And we're all just kind of sitting back like, okay, so what do we do for the next 5-6 months? I don't feel like there's a lot of excitement from Laker fans about this upcoming year. One of my buddies who I'm going to have on here pretty soon, and I'll start doing guests and everything like that a little bit down the road. But everybody knows Trevor Lane of Lakers Nation. The man, good dude, love the guy, does a phenomenal job, obviously behind a microphone, but just a good person in general. Him and I have had some conversations, and that's kind of been what he's told me. It's like, listen, the vibe from Laker fans are just, nothing really happened in the offseason, right? You're coming off, again, just trying to be a part of the play-in tournament. What was the highlight of last year that you take away? Don't tell me the in-season tournament, because I swear on my life, if anybody else tells me that the in-season tournament was something special or significant, actually, I think most people don't say that. But I don't really feel anything from Laker fans that are like, oh my God, I'm really looking forward to this year. I think sometimes that could be a good thing. I think sometimes when you have high expectations, and this team always have high expectations, but it doesn't mean they're realistic. When I talk Lakers basketball, I really, really try to be, all right, what is realistic expectations for the Lakers? What is that? I don't care that there's hype behind the team. Personally for me, and I think if you guys know me enough, I don't really get into the stories about Bronny and LeBron. That doesn't really do anything for me. Okay, Dalton Connect might have some opportunities. He's a rookie. Max Christie should be fun to watch this year, but what can you really expect? JJ Redick, yes, I understand he's a brand new coach, and maybe he can be a great piece to the Lakers organization. He's still a brand new coach, has never coached in the NBA. So I don't really know what to latch on to this year. I don't really know what to latch on to and get myself excited for it. Here's what I think is kind of the positive thing in that. I think the good thing in that is we might just get surprised. I have here, I'll wait on here for a quick second. But we might just get surprised because last year didn't go well. And last year you had a coach where a lot of head-scratching moments. It's like, wait, what the hell are the Lakers doing? Wait, why is that the starting lineup? Wait, why is Taurean Prince getting 30-plus minutes a game? Wait, why aren't you using your timeouts or your challenge? And I'm not trying to say that this was all on Darvin Ham, but there were a lot of moments during that season where I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. And then they did what they've done the last couple of years. They kind of have a late push, but when the dust settled, they lost again to the same exact team, to the Denver Nuggets. So LeBron yesterday at practice was talking about expectations. And I want to play this for you. I want you guys to take a quick listen here. Let me find it here real quick. This is LeBron talking about expectations coming into this season. Take a quick listen.
Don't have any expectations. I think that's unfair to put any expectations on us right now. The only thing that we can count on each other is how we come to practice and come to work every day and trust the process and get better every day, and that's what it's about.
Okay, no expectations. By the way, I hope you guys heard that. Hopefully that audio was fine. If somebody wants to just put in the comments that it's good to go, I would appreciate that. So Bron basically said no expectations. He has no expectations, that it's not fair to put expectations on the Lakers. That's kind of an interesting quote. I mean, kind of, I guess if you said, all right, well, what do you want him to say? I'll read you the exact quote here too, because I had the audio, but he says, I don't have any expectations, and that's unfair to put any expectations on us right now. The only thing that we can count on each other is how we come to practice and come to work every day. If I had to say, audio is good, little low volume. Okay, I'll turn it up next time. Only thing I would say to that is no, there's always expectations. Always expectations. Plus, you're LeBron James. I mean, come on. You've never walked into a situation or a predicament where there wasn't expectations. We know that. I mean, nobody's I guess if you said, okay, Alan, what do you want him to say? This is what I would want LeBron to say. I would want LeBron to say something to the effect of, this is the Los Angeles Lakers. There's always expectations, always. Whether they're fair, whether they're right, whether they're wrong, expectations always comes with the Lakers. I mentioned this, I think I did. I think I might have still been, I think I'm still at 710. But the nationally televised games came out. You know how many nationally televised games the Lakers had? It was like 40 or 41 or 39, whatever the number was. It was the most in the NBA. Why is that? Because the Los Angeles Lakers are just the most popular brand, period. Expectations always comes with the Lakers. Always. No question about it. I don't care what the hell the Lakers do. It's a story. So I just kind of thought, I go back to it in my world. I thought LeBron could have probably said something to maybe lean into what those expectations are. Guys, we don't know. It's very, very early. But we always have expectations. This is the Lakers. And, oh, by the way, I'm LeBron James. Everywhere I've gone in my entire career, I've always had expectations. So I thought there was a little bit, at least for me, that listen, it's not the end of the world, but it was just a little bit like, no, Bron, what do you mean there's no expectations? It's not fair to put expectations on ourselves. No, it's fair. You're the Lakers, and you are also LeBron James. Okay, a couple of those comments that I said about are people excited about the Lakers this upcoming season? All right, we got always excited for Lakers basketball. What do we got here? Lakers, mediocre team again. Let's see what else we got here. Always got to be excited and hopeful. New season, different coach, and a lot of possibilities. Oh, this is great. Got to defend that in-season tournament. I couldn't agree more. Got to defend that in-season tournament. I mean, it's a highlight of last year. Lakers have a target on their back because of that in-season tournament. You're going to tell me right now that the Minnesota Timberwolves are not circling the Lakers on that calendar because of the in-season tournament? You're going to tell me the team that the Lakers beat to win the in-season tournament against the Indiana Pacers in Las Vegas in front of everybody there. The parade that was going on outside of Crypto.com Arena. You're going to tell me they're not circling the date, the calendar of when they play the Lakers in-season tournament? Yeah, that's enough of that. Enough of that in-season tournament. I want to make a comparison here because let me find it here real quick. Give me a second here, guys. If you just blink your eyes, bam, all different topics that are on here. God, how do I do it? How do I do it? It's incredible, guys. I know a lot of people out there saying, geez, Alan, how does he have the ability to be this technologically advanced? Look, again, if you don't blink, old topics. You blink for a quick second, new topics. We keep it moving, guys. We keep it moving here. I was talking a little bit about JJ Redick versus Darvin Ham. I guess you want to kind of compare the two coaches here for a quick second. There was my buddy Jovan Buha, who covers the Lakers for The Athletic, but also has Buha's block on YouTube and does a great job. He had an article yesterday, and actually this might have been on his podcast, but he was talking about the vibes around Lakers practice. Granted, listen, it was literally the first practice. So it's like LeBron was saying yesterday after the game, he's talking, or after practice, saying like, it's the first day of school. If you remember and you take yourself back to when you were in school, you go back to the first day of school and you're probably, you're incredibly excited. All of a sudden, you feel extra motivated. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do so well this year. Whatever your motivation was. What's the first day of school? All right, get to the 37th day of school. It's probably not the exact same. But Jovan said this. He said, the vibes around the Lakers are at an all-time high. This is my 5th season covering the Lakers and my 5th training camp. And I cannot remember the Lakers having this kind of positive, joyous, and upbeat energy to this extent in any previous 4 training camps. And he did say, obviously this is just the first day and everything else. He says players were going through drills and shooting at game-style speed, and the intensity stood out, especially with LeBron, Bronny, and Max Christie doing shooting drills together. So he was very positive about the Lakers' first camp, their first training camp. I'm curious this year how much of the issues that the Lakers were having last season, or the issues that the Lakers have had in the past, how much of that is on your head coach? Like, how much of this can JJ Redick change? The problem with JJ Redick is I've never seen him coach a game in his life. The problem with JJ Redick is he's literally never coached in the NBA before. So that would be my concern with that. My concern would be more along the lines of he just doesn't have experience. We got a chance. It was a week ago. JJ Redick talked, and Rob Pelinka talked. You get a chance to ask a question. My question went to JJ Redick, and I asked him, basically, how are you going to handle things that you just don't know because you don't have the experience, but also having the expectations of, hey, this is the Los Angeles Lakers, and this fan base isn't going to be too forgiving. Or I got LeBron on my team and Anthony Davis and some of these other guys, and there's always going to be expectations for the franchise. How much of the weight? I mean, JJ Redick can walk into a year this year where the Lakers, let's say the Lakers got the 7th seed again, and then we're out in the first round of the playoffs. Let's say that happened. Does that mean JJ Redick is a bad coach? No, we wouldn't know. I don't think that would dictate whether JJ Redick's a good coach or a bad coach. But that can easily happen. I think last year, Darvin Ham went through stages last season, and the reason why I bring this up is because Lakers already announced who their starting lineup's going to be. And what's that starting lineup going to be? It's going to be LeBron, Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and Austin Reeves. And there was a question out there of, well, why is that going to be your starting lineup? And I think JJ Redick said something to the effect, I want to say that those 5 players were 18-6 together. So that basically answered the question of, yeah, he said, I think beyond the obvious guys, and he went through the rotation, but he said, by going 18-6 last year, that rotation to end the season, yeah, that's my starting lineup. Okay, there's some things that I think feel, how do I describe this? Common sense, maybe? Is that the right way to put it? Common sense? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but there's a common sense to this that sometimes I don't think is always common. So JJ Redick, I think adding some common sense into there. But I'm that's my curiosity. My curiosity is, all right, you got a coach that I think a lot of people were blaming last year, not all on him, but then you got a coach this year that's going to walk into a completely new situation, and we're not going to be able to dictate whether it's a good season for him or it's a bad season just based on how the Lakers do. All right, let me go to some of these comments here. By the way, let me say this here real quick. As I continue to do the Sliwa show, and now that I kind of got a couple videos already in, I put the video out already about obviously not being at 710 ESPN anymore. This is the show that I'm going to be doing, all that other good stuff. I'm going to be doing less of that, and now I'm just going to be more trying to put together what hopefully is a good show, a valuable show, a show that you guys find entertaining, interesting, the whole thing. The comments here, I will say this about the comments. A lot of people, I feel like, from 710 that was, a part of 710 that's following me on here. That's phenomenal, and I appreciate that. And, I think there are a couple reasons why I want to go at 8 a.m. One of the reasons I want to go at 8 a.m., I think there is opportunity in the morning to put together something that is live and local. Definitely, 100%. I think the other portion of that, of being done at 9 a.m. is I could then focus on the business side and go try to do everything else that's involved of trying to put together a good show. Working on another channel as well. I'm not on the mic for the other channel, but it is a San Diego sports-based channel as well. So I'm kind of doing that, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to help my city because it definitely, I think, can use the help. But that's part of the reason why I'm on at 8 a.m. If you're a big 710 ESPN fan and, you continue to listen to that station, awesome. Do your thing. The beauty is you can do both. You can still listen to me. I'll try to be as local as I possibly can. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of national topics out there as well if it's relevant and it makes sense. But this will be predominantly a Southern California show. And again, I'm looking at the comments, and a lot of these are familiar names, and it means a lot to me that those who were listening to me at 710 are also listening to me here on my own show. So, like I said, if you're still a big 710 fan and everything else, awesome. You could literally go from my show and transition right into everything else that they're doing and not miss a beat. So that gives you an idea of why I'm on at 8 a.m. All right, let's get some of these comments here. And a couple things that I think I mentioned. I don't think I'm going to do this college football thing right now. I think there's maybe I'll do this a little bit later, and it might be good for me to bring somebody on to go back and forth with. But what's the angle here on college football? There's so much changing right now in college sports. All right, look, I said I'm not going to do it. Now I feel like I'm already going into it. There's so much changing right now in college sports. My team, San Diego State University, yesterday, I know the Pac-12 is not the Pac-12, but Gonzaga just decided to join them on the basketball side of things. There's still a lot of moving parts. I remember when USC was playing Michigan. This was a couple weeks ago. USC was playing Michigan. And I'm like, this is freaking awesome. I was not a fan of the Pac-12 breaking up. I wasn't. And I think primarily the reason why I wasn't a fan of the Pac-12 breaking up, the biggest reason, I think, was because it looked like San Diego State was finally going to be a part of the Pac-12. And then next thing you know, they're not because the Pac-12 is gone. I loved that West Coast representation. I loved, having games that could be on at 7 o'clock at night. I don't even care who it is. It's Arizona versus Stanford. It's, Oregon versus Utah. You pick. I hated that Pac-12, that tradition, 100 plus years, got completely disassembled. And that's because of USC. Really, once USC decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and take off from here, UCLA came with them. And then, obviously Oregon and Washington eventually followed. And then the entire conference broke apart. And now it is what it is. USC is playing Michigan a couple weeks ago. And as much as I'm like trying to be stubborn about, no, it should be the Pac-12. I don't know what voice that is, but I feel like that voice is going to come in and out of the show. There I am in September, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is supposed to be a national championship game, or this is supposed to be at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena on January 1st. No, it's September. And you get USC and Michigan, and I don't know how many people fill up that stadium. What is it, 100 plus, whatever it is. I'm sure it's more than 100,000. But you're getting that in September? Do you understand the type of matchups that we're going to get now in college football? I got to read this article. Somebody had sent me an article. A buddy of mine sent me an article. I think it was in SI. No, it might have been the Washington Post. Basically that college football might have – they're working their way towards having a Super Bowl for college football. I know you're going to say, yeah, it's a national championship game. But now with the 12-team playoff and everything else, from somebody that hated that we were going to lose our tradition, that the West Coast wasn't going to have representation. 2 weeks ago, I'm watching USC and Michigan go down to the absolute wire. And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, how good is this? How good is it that you're going to end up having Penn State come to USC and that will be two teams that are in the top 10 taking on each other, and you're nowhere near the December or the playoffs. It adds this element of excitement to the game of college football that is incredible. I mean, some of these matchups are going to be incredible. Oregon, Ohio State. Go down the list of some of these teams now that we're going to get a chance to watch in the regular season that didn't exist before. And I think the 12-team playoff is amazing, but I'm a proponent of more. I'm a proponent of playoff systems. I thought baseball was screwing up for a long time by not having these wild cards. I mean, you can make an argument that the NBA has too many teams, NHL has too many teams. You can make that argument. I lean more towards it's okay. I'd rather have more playoff basketball. Listen, if you told me the NBA and the NHL reduced a team or two, okay, the world's not going to end. That's just not going to happen in the NBA or the NHL. They're actually adding teams to try to get more revenue and more games, and the play-in tournament now becomes a real thing. But I as somebody from a college football perspective, I watch college football very leisurely. NBA is my cream of the crop. Baseball, my team's got to be good. You know, the San Diego Padres have been good. 3 out of the last 5 years, they've been competitive. It's a lot easier to watch the games. I mean, Dodger fans have no idea what that means because I know Dodger fans that are like, well, wake me up in October. Yeah, you spoiled ass. You're good every year. So you don't have to worry about the regular season. I'm watching games in August against Cincinnati sitting on pins and needles. Okay, I don't have the luxury. But I'm a fan of the playoff system. And like I said, for college football, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't know if the way you're watching college football now is different. But if you live in Los Angeles, California, and you get a chance now to watch USC and Michigan in September, what more are you looking for? You're still going to get Oregon. You're still going to get Washington. You're still going to get that rivalry against UCLA. We'll see what happens with Notre Dame, but certainly they're on the schedule this year. But damn, these matchups they're iconic matchups that are taking place in September and October, where those would only happen in big bowl games or in the national championship or in that Final Four. Phenomenal there. Well, it's a good thing I said, I'm not going to do college football today, and then I went ahead and did it. Anyways, it was there. It was top of mind, so I wanted to do it. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Raider Rubin in the house. Raider Rubin, a big guy at 7'10" for a lot of years. So I appreciate you come hanging out here. People want me to do a show with Cap on San Diego. Cappy. Good man right there. Good man, that Mr. Scott Kaplan. All right, let's see what else we got here. Sup, Slee. Good to see you back. Thank you, Francis Mendoza. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see what else we got here. Got some comments here on the Lakers, always championship or bust. All right, let's get into the more important thing. Okay, like I said, I did mention this. Last 5 minutes of the show, I'm going to play something. I did a piece with Andy Bernstein, and I'd really, really appreciate if you guys can give this thing. It's not long. It's about maybe 5-6 minutes at the most. But I did a really, really good piece with Andy Bernstein on the making of the Mamba mentality. Andy Bernstein has been an NBA photographer for over 40 years, and he tells a story of pitching Kobe Bryant on the idea of having this book with all these iconic photos that kind of tells a story of his career. And I'm going to play that here in a little bit, and then that's going to be how I end the show. I'm going to do it that way, and then I'm going to end the show. But I'm not 100% ready to end the show yet. It's YouTube. I end the show when I want to end the show, okay? Or everybody just leaves the show, and it's like, hey, Al, I think the show's done. I think the show's done, buddy. Okay, so tonight I'm going to the Padres Atlanta Braves game. I don't know if anybody got a chance to watch the game yesterday, But if you're a Dodger fan, you should have watched the game yesterday. You should be taking notes. You should be a scout out there. You should have been hitting me on social media and saying, hey, Al, listen, this movement of Michael King's pitch, you got to tell me a little bit more about it. Hey, Al, who's this dude that just came out of the bullpen? And so Padres had 15 strikeouts yesterday. Anyways, long story short, whether you guys got a chance to watch that game yesterday or you didn't, my God, that place looked like it was rocking. I'm really, really excited to go to the game tonight. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story, and it doesn't matter whether you're a Dodger fan, Padre fan, from Southern California, not from Southern California. San Diego has never won a championship, a professional championship. And I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that that's happening this year. I'm going to knock on wood every opportunity that I have. But I cannot tell you how hungry this city is for anything. I mean, this city is still so freaking devastated from that dumbass Dean Spanos for taking our Chargers, our team away, and moving them up to Los Angeles. And I've been up in LA long enough to know that nobody gives a shit about the Chargers up there. And I know there'll be 7 people that say, you're wrong, I care this, that. No, they don't. I mean, go watch a Rams game against the Niners, and it's still 80% Niner fans that are at that game. And Rams are the premium franchise in Los Angeles, not the Chargers. The reason why I'm getting to that is because there's a vibe and an environment right now in San Diego. They are so thirsty and hungry for success. And I really, really hope Padres can wrap this thing up tonight. And then, obviously the next round is going to be against the Dodgers. And it's going to be mano a mano. I mean, what are you going to say about the Dodgers? That's the class of Major League Baseball, at least in the regular season. We know what they've done in the postseason, and you can't argue or deny that. They have underachieved in the postseason. Everybody knows that. But it's going to be an interesting vibe tonight. So there is, part of me that is like this, I want to go out there and have a good time, but I can't have a good time in these games. I can't. I mean, I remember being in LA for Game 7. It was Lakers Celtics. Like people are like, hey, just have a drink, have a good time. I'm like, I can't do that. I don't do good with separating my fandom with a business. I don't. But I think that's actually part of what I do. I prefer doing it that way. I prefer being really, really passionate about the things that I'm covering. Not all the time. I think there's only so much that you can do. But looking forward to going to the game tonight. Okay. A couple comments here, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. And like I said, I want to I definitely want to play this thing that I mentioned. Great to see Slee back in action. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. Look, Cappy coming in here. Scott Kaplan in the house. I mean, unless that's like a fake Scott Kaplan. I don't think it is. Cappy in the house. What's up, Cappy? Okay. Like I said, this is, let's see, one more here. Slee, you know what caused that? Both Rams and Raiders left in 95, took 22 years. By then, a lot of LA kids connected with NFL teams. Victor, I'm not questioning that or denying that. I completely understand that. The Chargers were here for 50 years. I think 51. So imagine, and one of the things that LA has that the Dodgers don't have, or that the San Diego doesn't have, LA just has power. If Kroenke wants to come and build a $6 billion stadium, he could do it and get no funding from the city. If Steve Ballmer wants to go build something, if LAFC wants to build a stadium, they just got power. And they also got 19 million people, so they could do things. We've had the wrong ownership in San Diego, period. And finally, when we got an owner that clearly cared about the city and cared about winning, in Peter Seidler, obviously sadly passed away, and people are, at least that ownership is trying to keep that tradition and see if they can fulfill the dream that he had. Okay. I like this. Eric says, my 8 to 9 a.m. production has gone to shit now, Slee. Listen, you don't got it. That doesn't have, you can still be productive. All you got to literally do is just put this on in the background, and you could still be productive doing it. Okay, my people, I am going to now play something here. Like I mentioned, it's very, very, this is a really, really cool piece that I was very proud of putting together. This is a little bit of where I'm hoping I could kind of take this channel. And what I mean by that is I want it to be more than just reaction. I want there to be some good production there and some good journalism and everything else that you'd like to call it. Take or watch this, and if you guys don't mind spending a few minutes, the whole video is 6 minutes long. This is the making of the Mamba Mentality book. I did this with Andy Bernstein on August 24th, 2024 is when I released it, Kobe Bryant Day. And I appreciate you guys watching this. That's going to be the end of the show. I'm going to let this play. The show will stop from there, and then tomorrow I'll be back in the morning. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you guys showing love to the channel. I appreciate all the comments out there. I mentioned the music behind me, Black Roots, Africa. I'll put that on the link in the description. It's a beautiful song. Every song I'm going to throw out a track there that I think you guys will enjoy. Thank you for being a part of the show. Here is the making of the Mamba Mentality book.
Okay, Andy, so I think one of the cooler things, it's actually one of the coolest stories that you've ever told me, the Mamba Mentality book. Can you tell the story of how that came about?
I was thinking about the mountain of photography that I had produced. Without exaggeration, probably over 20 years, 600, 700,000 images. It's always been my dream to have what's called a Taschen book. Taschen is probably the highest end book publisher there is for photo books. They make these giant sumo books. So the idea was, okay, well, now you got to pitch it to Kobe because he's got to buy in on it.
Sure.
So I made an appointment to go down to Newport Beach, show up with this giant thing.
So
and everyone's looking at me as I put this gently on the table, and I very gingerly take it out.
Okay.
And this is literally the size of a Taschen sumo book.
Wow.
It's called sumo for a reason. I gave him some, just to enhance the experience, I gave him some white cotton gloves, and he very methodically went through the book. So you and I can do that. Of course, I handpicked all of these. This is all hand done, this book. There were only 2 of them made, one for me and one for him. I don't want to tell you what it costs to do that. Hand printed, hand stitched, the whole thing. So he is very methodically looking, going one page after the next. It's kind of in chronological order.
Look at these.
But it's so impactful when you see them this big.
Not just photos that he might be familiar with,
right.
But Kobe, I got a couple under my sleeve that you've never even seen before.
Plus the concept of actually doing the book, because it's an effort on his part. This was going to be, I guess, the ultimate photo documentary book of his career, and he needed to A, want to do it, and B, want to participate in it. So I remember this like it was yesterday. He gets to the end and he folds it back up and kind of centers it, the table, and he goes like this, just looking down at it. He says, well, Andy, I got some good news for you and I got some bad news. I said, okay, I'm an optimist, so give me the good news first. He goes, the good news is we're doing a book together. Bad news is not going to be this book. I present this to him and he gives me the respect, the time, very valuable time,
Of course,
to present something to him that he knows he's not going to want to do. From the beginning, he knew whether he knew I was coming down for a meeting about a book. He knew exactly the kind of book he wanted to do. That book, of course, ended up being the Mamba Mentality book because he wanted to say in his own words, illustrated by my photos, what being the Black Mamba meant to him. Why did he take on this sort of superhero character? And B, what does the Mamba Mentality mean to him? Not as told to or interpreted by or whatever, from his own words. I aged probably a couple of years in that 20 minutes of presentation, but it was all worth it because the book that we ended up doing together now, of course, is his legacy. What Kobe taught all of us by his work ethic and what he believed in, how that can be brought into our personal lives, into our business world, into the board meeting, whatever it is. So I take that very seriously, and I feel like that's kind of what I'm meant to do now, is to keep his legacy going.
All right, Andy, so started here. This is the presentation to Kobe, and you end up with this, Kobe Bryant, the Mamba Mentality. How has this influenced others? What has happened on an international perspective?
When the tragedy happened and we lost him, and he and Gigi, everyone in the world wanted to publish this book, honestly. So this is the English version. This one, I believe, is Chinese. The book is literally the same book, but in Chinese.
Wow.
And this is only a handful. I think it's in 20 countries and 20 different languages. You know, even when he played, he transcended basketball. People loved him so much. I would go with him to China, the Olympics. They'd have to shut down not just the block, the whole neighborhood. It's just amazing to me how an athlete can have this much effect. And he just brought such a message to everyone. And of course, losing him and he and Gigi so tragically, I think it even just magnified it even more about how beloved he was. And we saw that now with the murals going up all over the world, in every nook and cranny of every country in the world, basically. The mural is painted from this photo, which is my photo, of course, but it's the last photo of Kobe walking off the court. The last time he was ever in a Laker uniform. It's the last picture ever taken of him in a Laker uniform. Next step was off the court to the locker room, and that was it. So it's very important for me to have this photo put on the wall. I get to say hi to him every time I pull into the driveway into my office. It's very impactful and wonderful for me. Part of what I do is I'm a fly on the wall in the locker room pregame. This was during the Grammy trip that year, which was like a 10-game road trip. It was like insane. And then we end up in New York, and they had played back-to-back games. As you might remember, you know, Kobe was beat up that season. And I'm doing my last sweep as I'm walking out the door, and I look to my left, and there he is. He's in the locker. My biggest fear was kind of disturbing him with the click of the shutter. Probably, if you ask me my favorite picture of Kobe ever, it's probably that one.
I really, really appreciate you telling the story, and what an unbelievable couple of hours to spend with you. So thank you very much.
Always great to see you, buddy.
Yes, sir. All right, Andy Bernstein, the man right here, the man.
I dare you to use
Hey,
our
my people.
completely